Hi, BHS. Today we're here to tell you a little bit about Metco, which stands for Metropolitan Council for Educational Opportunity. We'll be taking a look at the origins and participations from Bedford and hear from some present and former Metco students about their experiences through the program as well. First, I'll hand the mic over to Alex, and he'll be giving you a brief overview of how Metco came to be.
In the 1960s, the civil rights movement drew national attention to the racial inequalities across the United States. In Boston, a group of black parents reflecting on their children's subpar education pointed to the differences in schools in black neighborhoods and schools in white neighborhoods. However, the all-white Boston School Committee failed to address these inequities, leading their parents to begin their own voluntary school desegregation program called Operation Exodus. In Operation Exodus, 400 African-American students were bused to under-enrolled in predominantly white schools in the Back Bay. The program's success caused adults to think of ways to include more students, which led to Metco, the longest tenured voluntary school desegregation program in the United States. Metco was founded in 1966 after the passing of the Massachusetts Racial Imbalance Act, which required that schools with 50% or more of one race desegregate. Currently, there are about 3,300 students in Metco, attending 38 school districts outside metropolitan Boston and 4 districts outside of Springfield. Oh, Greg, why don't you tell us a little bit more about Bedford's participation in Metco?
Sure, Alex. The Metco program began in BHS in September 1974 when the first group of 22 students came to Bedford High. Since 1974, the Bedford School District has graduated hundreds of Metco students. We interviewed some students to share about their experiences about Metco.
Hi, I'm Mya Brewster. I'm in 9th grade and I'm a Metco student.
Hi, I'm Pierre. I'm a senior this year and I'm a Metco student.
My name is Ty-Janee Brewster. I'm in the 11th grade and I'm a Metco student.
Hi, I'm Deontay Small. I started Metco my freshman year and I graduated 2013.
Hi, my name is Justin Macaphee. I'm a 2012 graduate of BHS and I've been in the Metco program since I was in 4th grade.
It's generally a positive experience because you form like a brother and sisterhood with the people who are in Metco, and you know that you have somebody who's like you on your side, and that's a really comforting thing, especially as a 9th grader coming into a new setting.
I would say positive and negative. Positive because I got to meet a lot of different kinds of people that I was not used to seeing in school, and negative because I lost a lot of sleep.
I'd say for me personally, it was generally overall positive just because of the lessons I learned. And I don't think I had very many negative experiences with classmates and things of that nature. Most of my teachers were really helpful with understanding that I didn't get as much sleep and stuff like that as other students, and I didn't have as much time to do my work. So I'd say overall it was mostly positive.
I think definitely it's taught me time management. It's also taught me that I think that when you're put in a setting where you have to connect with people who don't look like you, who don't share the same experiences as you, it really pushes you to just try to connect with as many people as you can. So I think that another lesson it's really taught me is just to learn how to be a connector, not only with a connector of people who look like you and can share your same experiences, but people who are nothing like you, who share no similarities with you whatsoever. And I think that's something that I'm really going to hold for the rest of my life. I think that also, like, one thing I've really learned is that the same things that can discourage you in a school setting or just in a social setting are also the same things that could really motivate you. So those are 3 lessons that I think that'll definitely help me in the long run, not only in high school or in my high school experience. So
Definitely resilience, getting up really early, getting on the bus on time. It teaches you responsibility. Sometimes I feel like I'm not going to get out of bed. I'm not going to come to school tomorrow. It's not worth it. It's definitely worth it because education, in my opinion, is worth it. And in the long run, it's going to help me. And that's really what Metco has taught. Being in Metco has really taught me.
Main thing is not everyone comes from the same upbringing. Not everyone has the same morals and values as you do, so you can't expect them to act the same way that you do.
One of the major lessons that being a Metco student has taught me is that I need to take hold of every opportunity that I am offered. A lot of people where I grew up and where I currently live now, they aren't allowed to have this type of education. I can say that we are behind in Boston, but here, we are very ahead, and teachers really do seem to care about students, and that is one lesson that I feel like really has impacted me. In Boston, I never really felt like my peers and my teachers were always there for me the way that I needed. And now that I have these opportunities to have these teachers and peers that care about my well-being, I know that I can use that to, share to other people.
I think the biggest lesson that it's taught me overall is being able to navigate life, being a black man in a predominantly white world, just being a student of color in a town and a community that's predominantly white. It's kind of braces you for what life's really going to be like. For me, I think the biggest one was dealing with sports and time. So if we had a game on a Tuesday that happened to be at 7:30 and it was away, everyone else would get to be home at 9 or 10 after the bus, but I would have to get back to the high school and then go back home. So that was, I think, one of the biggest challenges. Luckily enough, I had a lot of friends on sports teams that I could stay over their houses and stuff. So I think that's how I got over those obstacles. But I think managing my time versus school, sports, and at-home life during my time as a Metco student was probably the hardest thing.
Obstacles that I have to face is the morning wake up, having time management to do homework and be on top of things. Definitely schedule. There's a lot of extracurricular activities that I want to do, but it's going to be hard with busing schedule and how long I'm going to be here, how much sleep I'm going to get, and then I have to eat. Then I have other responsibilities when I get home, such as homework, chores, all that stuff.
Being out here and being away from my family and I know it's only 40 minutes, but it's still away. I had a lot of freedom, and I didn't know exactly how to use that freedom in the right way. I kind of wish I would have changed some things about that. But
definitely think first coming here in third grade was definitely a culture shock. From going to classrooms where there's all black faces to classrooms where there's a lot of white faces there. That's definitely been one obstacle. Adjusting to that's definitely been something that I've had to adjust to at a very young age. Also, just the late nights, early mornings, trying to do the same things that my peers would do as a Metco student, having to face the physical constraints that they had to face. So.
Some relationships that I've fostered are, my really close friends. I feel like they know exactly what I need when I need it without me having to discuss that and having to tell them hey, this is what I need. And also with my teachers, I know that whenever I need help, I can always go to them. I can always ask them for guidance. I email my teachers and they're very quick to reply. And I know that if I were to ever come back and, ever give back to Bedford, these are the people that I would want to come and see. These are the people that I'd want to be around. These are the people that I would want to, check in with because they've done nothing but check in with me since I've been here.
One relationship I'd say that was pretty strong from the beginning was one with me and Mr. Mondesir. When I was a student, he always kept it all the way real with me and told me about my consequences for my actions and everything, and still to this day, I still go to him for advice and if I need help with something. And he still does the same thing, just keeps it all the way real with me.
Definitely a few teachers. I don't want to name any names, but I'm still close to them now. You'll always see me hanging out in their rooms during the day. And then two of my old teammates that I consider brothers, one of them who's actually getting married, and I'm going to be in his wedding next year, and another one who I was just with last weekend watching football. So those two are like brothers to me. I always got to stay over at the house. Their moms always made me dinner, made sure I had anything I needed over the weekend when I was there. So those are two relationships, to name names, Colin and Jimmy, that I still hold dear to this day.
I love theater, I love music, and I've definitely connected with Miss Falstick a lot. I've known her for 4 years. I had her in 6th grade, and I've known her throughout 7th and 8th grade, and now I have her again as a freshman here at BHS. She's really been supportive with my dreams and my aspirations, and she's really been there to support me throughout this year, and I really appreciate her for it.
I would say it's different now than before. It seems like my co-students now are a little bit more to themselves than what we used to be. It's understandable, but there's obviously just some outside factors that come into play when you talk about that too.
I'm not for sure positive because I've only been here for a year, but not even a year, for half a year. But from what I've seen so far, there's kind of a more of a disconnect I see between the Metco students and the students from Hanscom or Bedford. I think part of that might be that a lot of them don't play sports anymore, where like majority of us did back in the day, because sports is just kind of something that brings people together regardless of social class, race, and stuff like that. But also too, just kind of the differences in the world that's happened since 2012 with the whole police brutality thing. I think that might have a part to do with it, and how black people just feel around masses of white people. I think it still has room to grow, and I hope to help in that with Mr. Mondesir and the rest of the people here, but it's definitely still growing and getting better. I don't think it's regressed, but it's definitely still getting better.
I do. I feel like as Metco students, some of us come into the program later than others, and I feel like that we need to be a little bit more aware of things that are going on in the Black and Hispanic communities, such as, maybe HBCU, college fairs, which are historically Black colleges and university college fairs, and, things to really help us understand who we are. I mean, we learn about it in school, we learn about it, at home, but to really see other people that are successful, that look and sound just like us, would be something that's really, would be really impactful on us. I feel that, kids of color, students of color, people of color, we aren't used to seeing people like us that are very successful in today's society and how it's set up. And, that's how it's been for a while. But for us to maybe implement programs to help us become more aware of people like that and people that are more successful and things like that, that would really help the Metco program as a whole and really allow for there to be a really positive experience.
Yes, there's always room for improvement whenever you talk about anything. I believe that we can form greater connections with not just people who look like us, but people who are in the Bedford community. There's a lot of Metco students that kind of stick to their own Metco group, and hoping that we can kind of get out of our comfort zone being in a different setting, especially in a predominantly white setting. Hopefully we can create new connections and bonds with other people so we can feel more comfortable here at BHS.
I would definitely say there's a lot of room for improvement. I feel like Metco kids, I understand that all kids and all students are essentially on the same playing field, but Metco kids have to go through a little bit more just with the times they have to get up and the times they get home from school. And I wish the staff as a whole would just understand that they don't all come from the same place, like I said before.
Definitely. I think that as students, we come here, and it's really hard as students of color finding our place to belong. And oftentimes students try to figure out, like, do they trim aspects of their identity to fit in, or does the school or does the setting that they're in have to do some adapting to fit their needs? So I feel like our school, the Metco experience at our school can definitely be better, just in the sense that students have to feel like they belong a lot more than they do now. Definitely need to feel like there's a sense of community here as students of color, just because there's so few of us. So that's one sense that I think that the Metco experience could be bettered. So
Thank you, BHS, for being a respectful audience, and thank you to all the students who shared their experiences. We hope you all learned something new today about Black history.